Well, hello everybody. Welcome to FX Evolution's weekly webinar series for the 5th of May, 2021. My name's Thomas Atkinson from FX Evolution. This is our live weekly market analysis series, and we've got Tyrone joining us today on the all-new FX Evolution content YouTube. Make sure to subscribe right now. How you going, Ty?
Good. Hello, everyone. And I just can't understand something. Why have we got 48 people watching but only 23 likes? I can't understand that. I think we need some likes.
That's right.
I'm so excited about the likes.
Ty's begun it already, guys. He wants those likes and he wants them now. So, Tyrone, what's been going on in the last week? What have you thought about these markets? A lot of momentum in the Doge, a lot of momentum in certain things. We saw a bit of a stock market sell-off with a heavy recovery last night. Do you think it's all wild, or is it all good and great trading is to be had?
I think it's all good in terms of the currencies, definitely. I think the market is it's starting to go in what I call the crocodile spin. When the crocodile gets hold of its prey, it starts doing the underwater spinning just before the May sell-off, I reckon. So I think that's what's going to go on there.
Yeah, you won't be able to hear Tyrone too well today, guys. We do have one slight microphone issue here, but that'll be fixed for next week, so don't worry. Let's just quickly jump through a risk warning, Tyrone. It's important to understand that any of the information contained, and of course, this webinar is purely going to be for educational purposes, and the information presented must be considered only general in nature. The information provided does not take your specific needs or circumstances into consideration, and of course, you must look at your own personal situation and requirements before making any financial decisions, and seek independent financial advice if necessary. So, Ty, as we always do, let's jump in now to the live charts. Let's take a look at what's going on there. I'll switch scenes, get out of here, jump on out.
Everybody knows the puppy did not eat the wire. That is not our microphone issue. Okay. Contrary to popular belief, the puppy did not eat the wire. We've just got a couple of dual microphone setup problem, but don't worry, it'll be sorted by next week. But it is not the puppy's fault.
Believe me when I say, guys, we are literally using ancient technology right now. It's like radio tech, yeah? We're using radio tech. Anyway, that's all. It's like having us both sitting around, Ty. You'd be surprised. The phone is attached to the microphone. It's pretty funny. Anyway, that's not what we're here about. We're all here about talking through the markets and what's going on right now. So we'll start, as always, Tyrone, with the dollar index. And I want to take this straight to an 8-hour, and I want to show you this level and show the community this level. Wow, wow, wow. What a point of resistance and support. I mean, this level here, I've been talking about it a little bit recently. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's an inverse head and shoulders that's going to break, and it's going to play out in the middle of May. It's going to 92. I'm sure of it. That's what I reckon. It's got serious work to do to break it. There's no question about that. It is a very, very strong role reversal. We've been talking about it for a little while now, but I think if we get that closed above that sort of 91, probably 50 area to be convinced, really. It's going to break that 200. If it does that, if we measure out that inverse head and shoulders, I think that it's going to go to a very, very nice level. So we'll quickly draw that one up. And yeah, I think it's a really, really nice trade. You can see it goes into that previous top over there at around that sort of 92, 50 area. Very, very strong zone. I think taking 80% of that would be a really nice trade. It looks like it's busting to do it. I really like this one. I think it bodes very, very well for the other US dollar-based pairs we're going to talk about as well, I think.
Yeah, I think it posts pretty well here. If this gets through, I mean, it's really just at the point of resistance. I mean, anything can happen now. We always say this. If we get a new break here low, and we'll look at the smaller time frames in a few moments, it's either closure high here around 91.50, and I think that would sequence, as Tyrone said, 92 to 92.50. This range here becomes very open. Huge participation phase, 50 cents on the dollar index is a big thing for, of course, euro pairs, for odd pairs, for all of those others. We go down here to the Australian US dollar, and you'll notice straight away, bang, this support now is a key little bit of zone. We've got a 1 support, 2 support. If we break underneath here, it exposes back to the 90, 88 kind of area tie, and then we could get further selling. So it's all going to happen, and it's all going to probably happen over the next 24 to 48 hours. And why is that? You may ask. Well, as we know, it is non-farm payroll. So we'll jump on over here and we'll see non-farm payrolls, 10:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We have the unemployment rate, the non-farm employment change. This is what the dollar index is sitting there for. So do we expect coiling into this event, Ty? What are your thoughts?
Most definitely. It does every week, and no matter what the numbers are going to be, they're probably going to be lies. The unemployment's apparently better than it's ever been in Australia. It's not that it's got anything to do with non-farm payroll, but I went to Coles this afternoon to get some lunch. The car park was full. Nobody's working, Thomas. So I'm not sure how the unemployment numbers are dropping when at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, the car park is full and everybody's in Coles.
They're underemployed, Ty. They're working from home. Remember, working from home, working at Coles.
Look, you know what though, as it always does, the markets are really putting these key levels for us on the week that counts. We know that, and I think you're right. Look, it's coiling there. All of them are very important zones at the moment. But I think, regardless of what the numbers are, I mean, look, sometimes it goes the opposite way anyway. Regardless of what the numbers are, I expected in obviously good numbers, but I agree with you that it can break either way. There's no question about that. But I would prefer the upside break only because of the clear pattern that's there, and that's why we've got a preference. If it goes short from here, well, that's all good and well. It can certainly short down, 50 points on the dollar index, no problem. But the preferred trade here would be the upside break, because that really opens itself up with a lot of blue sky in front of it. And it does a lot of good things for a lot of the other good setups that we're going to have a look at shortly. So we're barracking for the long, but of course we're setting up for either or we'll trade both of them.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're looking at here, Ty, is let's say that break happens. We're always talking about what are the possibilities. I'm going to go straight into the index because I want to talk about US 500 and where we're shaping up. So we saw a massive sell-off yesterday. Well, not massive, but it was big enough. And percentage-wise, that sell-off actually ended up being about 1.12. It was almost 3 and a bit, I think, on the Nasdaq. And now we're back at this resistance. So let's think about what could happen here. Now we know dollar index strength usually is risk off in the market. So if we sell off this point, and I want to get Tyrone's opinion on this one as well, because boy, oh boy, I mean, this looks like a sell zone after such a big whipsaw action. This is exactly where it sells off. But let's say it goes back down to the 41.20 area. This is where I expect us to be if the market is going to sell off, if that dollar index is going to bull long, because basically right here is where you would be expecting those non-farm numbers. Remember, the market either will go to a point of resistance ahead of non-farms, or it goes to a critical point of support ahead of big news. Ty, what are your thoughts on the 41.80 return? Is this a fake move back up after what was an initial sell big move? Yes, it is, you've said. There's nothing else. There's just yes.
It's a false move, and you know what? Because I'm reporting from my apparent phone booth here, according to Darth.
It is actually a phone booth.
I can't say outlandish statements like that. I believe it was a fake move. For all intents and purposes, that was selling off. I think, again, this is the crocodile roll that we're seeing. It's the area that if it's going to sell off, it's going to sell off from here, isn't it? That's the one we're looking for. It's got a lot in front of it. It's going to be very interesting to see what it does tonight. Whether it does, when the preliminary numbers come out tonight, it's going to be interesting to see if this sell-off continues. I'd like to see a retest of that low and probably close below it. That's what we really want to see. And that could definitely happen in an evening. Like, we know that, right? Like, that's not a big deal, a sell-off down there. It's already kind of preempted that move anyway. So let's just see what goes on with it. But realistically, we're all expecting, the potential short here. And I think this is the zone. If it's going to go, this is where it's going to go from.
Yeah, it has to. The bears have to regain control right now of the market. But it's that synergy that I think we wanted to talk about. So let's just quickly go through some of these US dollar pairs. You'll notice here the odd is trying to do the trough, peak, higher trough, higher peak sequence here, Ty. It's been smashed off by a 50 and a 200 simple moving average. We'll start running through them now. And I actually also was looking at this little bit of a trend line that's come through here. Not a great, glorious trend line, but certainly everything intersecting with this zone. It makes sense. If we get weakness in the US dollar, what's going to happen? The odd is going to fly, and the sequence is complete. So look for a break above here. Ty, I'm thinking like a 77, kind of 50 plus, something like that. And I think that this is a strong enough kind of downtrend that's occurring here that we get bang, bang, and then a movement back to the 78. Now, that's the dollar weakness scenario. If the dollar strength is going to happen, it sells off right now, makes a new low here, and then we go and we retest back down here. So it's at critical. These are all at point criticals. Odd. Look at that. Just absolutely critical. And we all know that the biggest support is sitting right back down here. What are your thoughts on this one, Ty?
Well, for those of you who listen to the Friday wrap, we talk about the Aussie every single time, and here it is again, sitting right in the middle of the 77 zone. It's been here for so long. It's very, very critical. You're right. I think that, really it does come down to what the dollar index does. There's no question about that. And that's why I think it's so important this time, because if it does break higher, you could really, I think the 77 level will break this time. If that inverse head and shoulders plays out, this is going to find itself in probably 75 and relatively quickly too, I think, because this is just looking for a reason to sell off. And those lower highs and lower lows, that's a 2 hour time frame, I know, but it finds itself at that critical zone where realistically the 77 has been holding it up. But I think if it does break that 77, I think it'll rush down 150 points pretty quickly. I can't see it, hovering around just below 77. It's been wanting to break for a little while, and you know what? It's had its chance to go higher. It just hasn't done it. It's had its chance. The euro pushed up higher, the pound pushed up higher. This one really stayed in its zone. So I think this is setting up for the short. But again, of course, it's going to depend on the dollar index. We really need to see. And this is what I said, if it does break to the high and makes the inverse head and shoulders play out and breaks the neckline, it makes far more sense from a technical standpoint for all the other pairs. Like everything else is setting up a lot nicer for that move rather than the opposite, obviously, which is to go long. So, you can see what is transpiring there. We want to see a break of that 77.
I like the 8 hour the most here. I think an 8 hour close below is so clean. Big wick, no closure. Always wick, no closure. So I'm pretty clean on this 77 here on the 8 hour. Watch that one to watch. Pound, US dollar, another one that's trying to break high here with the sequence trough, peak, high trough, etc. But yeah, look at this stage, nothing's occurring. So pound, euro, similar kind of thing, right at the support, key zone, no closures yet in the 8 hour. It's all the same sequences throughout all of those. But I want to talk about the manipulation in silver right now, Ty. Nice breakout, and it is at literally critical. But like anything, catching the falling knife. Nasty Yellen came out yesterday, destroyed the silver trade for quite a few people. The trend is still up, but I tell you what do we want to see right here, right now to get this thing going?
Yellen is the Bitcoin.
What? That might get demonetized. Not that we're monetized on this channel, but anyway.
She had no reason to do that other than to really destroy what was actually setting up quite nicely. And I totally agree. I don't like it. I don't like what she did, and I hope she just keeps quiet for the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, let's have a look at the sequence here on the 2 hour, because things could come good. Yellen can go away, and we can get that trough peak. Imagine 2660 is closed above. Ty, are we back on?
Yes.
Okay, good. I like it. 2660. We're back on, people. There's no stuffing around on silver. That's where we're thinking. And of course, the 2728s are the next zones. Now, gold is another one that got bashed up. We'll just quickly talk about gold here, because I do think all US dollar pairs, unless you've got some special cat action for us tonight, all US dollar pairs are really kind of setting up for non-farms, and it creates hard trading until we get the clear story there. Once we get the clear story, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Monday's open next week, Ty, after that non-farms. Gold here, it's all about 1797. Closure above here. I'm thinking the 1825 at that point, but we're in the middle of nowhere land. Very tough trading on gold.
It's got to break that 1800. There's no question about that. And when it does, 1825 first stop and probably 1850 is the next stop. I think we can do it quite easily, actually. But we do need to get that closed above, but it's got to close above the 1800. And look, certainly, this can certainly play out. I think it's really a day or even the next the next 24 to 48 hours, set your alerts for all of these key areas. They're really, really important. But I think, the gold close above 1800 is super, super important on a daily chart, especially. That's what we really want to see. I think, the question you had on the US dollar-based pairs, I think my favorite one at the moment, I did the Tuesday wrap on yesterday, which is the US dollar yen. It's the one that looks most likely because it's got some really nice setups, especially you can see here you got an 8 hour there. I've never even looked at an 8 hour chart on the US dollar yen, but that had the cross that we're talking about. But
what time frame do you want?
Yeah, that's the 1 hour. But I think it's more compelling on the 4 hour. If you go to the 4 hour chart, you can see that the 20 moving average has been support for it all the way up, and it's been making a series of higher highs and higher lows. I do like this one, and I think that it's still certainly in play. You can see that the 20 moving average has been holding it up. I'd really want to see the break come soon. It's trying. 109.80 to 110 is probably a pretty easy trade if this one starts to pick up a bit of momentum. But probably 110.50 is probably the real target. And I don't think the dollar index doesn't even have to play out to the whole inverse head and shoulders for that to happen. I think this is finding really good support here. And it's got the benefit now of the 20 moving average and the 200 moving average behind it on the 4 hour. I really like that. So with a little bit of solid movement on the 1 hour, I think that we could see a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. We saw that trend line break. That was nice. And it's not giving us any indication that it wants to go lower at this stage.
No, I think this 20 is very, very compelling, Ty. As you said, above the 200, super compelling. And this has been an amazing type of trade because remember, we crapped on about this last year. We were talking hardcore about this one breaking through. This was one of the better trades that we had for a very long time in terms of just we knew things were changing, and it was a bonanza on the US dollar yen. We always had that 110 target, and it just came through. It didn't even take that long. I was really surprised how fast we got that 104 to 110 action. We saw the series of lower highs, lower peaks coming through. We saw the breakout, even had that chopping up here like a flag from the first break. It was phenomenal stuff. And it's done it again. So now 110 becomes open. I tend to agree with you. Things are looking great on the smaller time frames there. Let's jump on over to US oil. It pretty much came in for us. Where is our US oil? Should be down here. Why do I not have it there? Anyway, I'll load it up. 1 second. US oil.
Yeah, for all of you who are joining us a little bit later, the microphone is playing up on my end. It's not because I'm a hillbilly from the bush, okay? No, I'm not in a SpaceX rocket like some have suggested. And no, the puppy has not chewed the wire. we will have this sorted by next week, so don't worry. You'll be hearing us in all our stereo glory, so don't worry about that. So, yeah, for those of you who have joined late, all is okay in the OG.
All right. So that'll all be fixed. We'll be fixing that type of stuff. So resistance hit here on US oil creates a little doji there on the daily so far in the trade. It obviously is indecisive about what it wants to do next. But this was our range. This is what we expected. It did it masterfully. There was actually a great trade in here. We'll just show the community how you get into this type of thing. Let's say you missed the breakout. And I think it was totally fair to take that breakout. But you've got to have the adequate stop for it. And you've got to believe. Real trading is you got to believe in your system. You got to believe in the concepts and push it through. So we have this breakout. Then we have a pullback. Looks nasty, yeah? But if you have the belief, you get the beautiful second double bottom. That double bottom then breaks again, closes above, comes back, and then moves on through to the completion. I had quite a lot of faith in this. I think a lot of oil stocks as well were looking very, very good. We looked at XOM, Ty. Actually, I'll show you this one. Looked at this on last night's stream, the stream before and everything. Look at Exxon, another really great consolidation on an oil stock with a breakout, with a retest. I mean, this one it's going to go up pre-market. I mean, look at that, another 1%, but it's got even more in it, potentially the 62. I mean, what do you think of Exxon here?
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? And look, it is definitely, I mean, that US dollar oil, the US dollar oil was awesome. That was a great trade. There were many opportunities to get in there too. It wasn't just one or two. But yeah, that looks really, for all intents and purposes, you'd think you could test that high again. Oil does look strong, and if anything, it's probably lagging it just a little bit, isn't it? So yeah, it does look strong on open. So yeah, testing that 61 sort of 80 level, you would think wouldn't be that big a stretch for this one.
I think it's not that big a stretch at all. I want to show you this weekly as well. Look at this. Imagine This is the ultimate. Look at the ultimate here on the weekly. We got the 200 simple, and look at that support. Support. My God, imagine that is where I think Exxon is really aiming for. And then bleh. I'm done with it. Goodbye. Goodbye, Exxon. We're not coming back.
That is a very serious target. And you could see it, like I said, that's not even that big a stretch.
No, it's not that big a stretch, yeah. But look at it. Oh, my Lord.
Really, that could definitely play out. And it's a very, very strong roll reversal zone. Very logical place. That 200 is not going to, that's a weekly 200, right?
Take a while.
That's not going to move anytime soon. Like, that's a very, very slow moving average.
Well, look, it's still creeping on down. We've been going up for a while. My God, it's going to be sitting there for ages. You're right, though. It's not going anywhere. Let's move over here to Euro Pound, because Euro Pound hit a weekly last week. We talked about this level, and it's tipping on over. So it had the resistance. It did a little sneaky daily breakout, okay? Nasty, nasty creature from this one. Daily breakout, no new high off the wick, which can happen with these breakouts. I mean, if you don't get that high off the wick, see the wick? Just no closure above that, and now it's reversing. Little double top could be in play here soon, Ty. I don't know what that line's doing. Let's get rid of that crap. And we'll move over here. What are your thoughts on Euro weakness here? And if it doesn't hold up at the 86, I could really think that this, we're going to proof to 85. We can tell that by sight. But you've got that double top here. Bang, 80, 85. This is so logical on the smaller time frames. Bang, bang, take it down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this one's showing the weakness that we're probably wanting it to at that key level. I think it's still got to do it, though. It's not one of those ones that I just automatically short. I think I'd want to see that daily close, below that level for sure before I'd be entering this one. But I think it's very smooth sailing, all the way to 85 after that. And I think that you might even get a retest from the bottom. So, it's one of those ones where you've got to be a little bit patient, but I think you'll be well rewarded if you wait. It's just a tricky one to actually try and sell off from here, because this could easily pick up momentum right where it is now and head to the to that sort of 87 zone again pretty easily. So I think it's one of those ones where you've got to wait. I know you're giving away a few pips to get the confirmation, but when you get it, I think it'll be a pretty easy trade down to 85 if it does break that zone. That's what I'd be looking for. Yeah. I wouldn't want to preempt it.
No, you can't preempt this. You just got to wait for it. But I think the Euro Pound's been the gift that keeps on giving in terms of those big shorts. I mean, we had monster shorts in here all the way down to these key levels last time, and then it started reversing after it lost that steam. And yeah, there's always been some good technicals here on the Euro Pound, been better than it has been. Go over to the Beast here. Beast actually gave an entry, I would say, a few days ago. Bit of a base formation. We'll go to the 4 hour or the 8 hour, doesn't really matter. So we'll just have a quick look here, and you'll notice straight away it formed a new low, came up, retested, crazy amounts, 200 and the 50 sitting here, right on those peak resistances, and then bounced again, and has now just made a new peak. There's a lot of kind of problems in here, but I feel like it's mustering like your other yens, Ty. Remember, this is like the US dollar yen, really, isn't it? Pound is clearly stronger than the euro right now. We've also got a lot of strength coming out. I mean, you saw that pound US dollar. That thing was trying to break before it could even break. And then the US dollar yen, you're talking about the long here, weakness in the yen, back to the highs.
Yep.
That's the analysis. All right. Yeah.
I think it's so obvious. I mean, I hope everybody can see this. Like, this is just trading 101. It breaks that level. It just goes there. It's just what it's going to do.
It looks really solid. Most time frames present really clean pictures here with lots of moving averages behind, lots of great support here at the 151. Psychological, it's a beast for a reason. It moves a lot. You've got your clear levels of
that's
SL.
A double bottom in the direction of where we want it to go too. No. And you measure out that double bottom, and you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to go to that level.
It's going to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see that without even drawing it. So I mean, it's like it's just trading 101, and this is what we look for all the time. Like this is this is our favorite sort of stuff. Like bang, like that's not magic. That's just what technical analysis is. It happens time and time again. And when you can see them in action, that's when you really start to take advantage of it. So, but you've got to wait for the break, right? Like that's the thing. It is a very fast moving pair though. So you've got to be a little bit, you've got to have your alert set, and it may be a bit hit and miss whether you actually get the entry or not. But if you get it, you know where you're going. And I think that's probably the hardest battle for a lot of people, where to take profit. I think that's probably one of the things that we find is the most difficult thing for people to sort of work out. Where am I going to take my profit? When you're trading a technical pattern, I think that the profits are obviously very easy to target, and that was just a very good example of where you would be taking it.
All the yens, really. I think pick your poison on the yens. They're all looking like they want to break out with that weakness that's coming in from the yen and strength against it from everything else. So, or as always, watch the US dollar yen. Tyrone's right on with that one. And then all the rest are just coming. I think pound looks like the strongest second pair, though. Have you got any other currencies here, Ty? Or we're going to hand it over to YouTube just quickly to have a bit of a question about a few, and we'll take a look at them live here on the stream. What is this? New Zealand US dollar?
We'll take a couple of questions.
US dollar pair's terrible.
Look them up. But what I am going to say is, though, I am, as much as we've got a massive microphone issue today and we're just getting by, I'm loving this new YouTube setup. I love the interactions that we're getting. Like the people are far more interactive, which is awesome, straight up. But I think in time, well, not in time, I think next week we'll get this sorted. It's going to be really, really good. And I'm not so sure what everybody else thinks, but Thomas is going to have a hard time not bringing me on as a guest in his normal YouTube session sometimes. So I just want to get in there and just,
we got to get you a cam.
Speak from the OG.
We're going to get the camera from the OG, and then I think we should do this. We should do some hangouts a few times a week on that one. I actually don't mind this, Ty. I was just looking at this one, the daily here. No body closures below this trend. Yes, okay, it wicked through, but look at that. It's been pretty solid recently, and it's weakening into it. What do you think about break here from the 155?
Yeah, I do like this one. I actually spotted this one, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to it about a week and a half ago, but it's looking a lot better now because it's really at that zone too. Like if it's going to break, this is the sort of level that we wanted to push up higher, pick up some momentum. What I'd like to see here is a bit more momentum on the way up. That 20 moving average crossing the 50 and then breaking it around the same time. I think that will give it that big boost that we need. The 20 crossing the 50 will be a big thing for this, and I think it would probably happen if we get a bit more momentum. If this level holds up one more time and we start to see that higher low sequence on a smaller time frame, that should be enough to kick the daily moving averages over the cross, and hopefully it'll break up higher. But I think it's a good one to set an alert for, a really good one.
Yeah, and what do we want? We need this thing to go real quick, though. I mean, this is getting to the danger zone. Now, if you haven't done our course, most of you guys would because you're part of the membership community. But if you haven't and you're here joining us for YouTube the first time we've done this one together here, it's all about the 2/3. So basically, realistically, it should be gone by about here, ideally. We're going to leave it to probably about this point. But if it gets too close to the end, what happens with one of these types of ascendings is effectively it peters out. And when that happens, what's it not telling us? Strength. But there's two ways to trade this. There's one way, which is the breakout to the top, and then you get really, really excited. And then there's the other way, which is actually the reverse trend line play, which can be just as successful all the way down to the lows. So a lot of people don't know about the reverse trend line play, where you take not the closure, but when it retests back up, lightning bolts on a smaller time frame. So this is a 4 hour, so maybe like a 15-minute here, and boom, you take it on down. So lots of opportunity there on the Euro odd. Let's hand it over to the community now. Guys, put in some stuff in the chat that you want to look at. And I think I've got one or two more to cover off here. And yeah, we probably like, I think the YouTube seems like it's working out here. It's good.
Yeah, what we don't want to see on this particular pattern is that petering out that Thomas was talking about. We want to see a break up or we want to see a breakdown. What we don't want to see is that price action staying all the way to the apex of that triangle. That is not cool at all, because that breaks down pretty much all the momentum. Because what happens then is even if price gets up there all the way to the peak and tries to break up higher, it hasn't really got momentum on its side anymore. It's not getting any force from the bottom. So yeah, it doesn't really add anything to that pattern. In fact, it's no longer a pattern. So what we want to see is movement from down here to give it momentum before it actually breaks. The ideal move is definitely up, but it can be traded on the way down as well. What we don't want is basically an apex break, which is it just sort of squiggling away to the point.
I've got Euro knock as a request in here, but I think Sid brings up a great point, Tyron. I want to mention this straight away. You should always consider your exit before your entry, or else you aren't a trader, he says. Well, definitely true on one point there, Sid, and that is that if you don't have an exit strategy, you don't have a stop-loss strategy. Sid, do we have a stop-loss strategy? We need a stop-loss strategy. And And then we want, of course, our entry strategy. It's easy to push the button. It's hard to know when to get out and where to put your SL if you're going to have one.
In my opinion, I totally agree with you. If you haven't got an exit strategy, then you haven't actually got a strategy. It's as simple as that. If you don't know when you're getting out, then you haven't really got a strategy. You've just hit the button. It's really important to know both. Your stop loss and your take profit are very, very important when you're placing a trade. And 100% right. Otherwise, you haven't actually got a strategy. Don't worry about an exit strategy.
Thad says, "Can we pay for the course in BTC yet?" See, I think Thad wants to really purchase it. We only take certain coins, Thad. We only take certain.
Actually,
we can do it. I don't know.
We have to make allowances. We're actually taking a quarter of a Bitcoin for the course. So one full quarter of a Bitcoin.
Back in 2016. Yeah, very expensive. We've got a high payment charge, just like the transaction fee on Bitcoin. We'll take a look at the cryptos in a second. Euro knocks a tough one time. I mean, basically, it's in a short. Yes, you've got this. Look, you know what? Damn, we have to go a full top down here to figure out what the hell's going on. That's not a trend line, by the way, guys. 200 SMA hit. Previous kind of. You got to understand with currencies is the way that they work is, of course, they're being manipulated by the country. So they're being manipulated by the central bank of the country, and effectively they want it to be in a healthy medium. Now that's what happened through last year. Of course, the pandemic, it's coming back down. This is the point where you expect maybe some bulls to start to get control of it around this 200. You can then go back and see how it's interacted with the 200 in the past. You're going back all the way to 2010, 2017. So it's clearly at a point where I guess I expect consolidation. I also expect boring trading here. So I look, this is one that if I was on the weekly here, I'd be like, like it's over. The short's over. There's not much chance that it's going to continue going down unless you know something about central bank policy. And I expect sideways movement for here. And then what you're looking for more is a consolidation, like a channel, a breakout from the channel, or like a series of kind of that type of thing. Ty, I mean, do you, like, based on what we just saw there on the weekly, it's got to be close to the end of its short.
Yeah, when you start to see that price start to consolidate, like the lows are getting lower, and there's a little bit more action in between, you'd think it's starting to find its bottom, don't you? I mean, it's still got to do the job. There's no question about that. But when it does do it, I think the only problem for me with this one is that it's going to, because it's had so many lower highs and lower lows on the way down, it's going to find trouble everywhere you look on the way up as well. So it's going to be a difficult navigation for the long. But I think what you can probably do once it does eventually turn around and start going long is you can have many little stabs at it and keep scalping it long. And I think you're going to get some pretty good results in there. But you just got to be mindful that there will be resistance all the way up. I just want to. There is a question there from Gravity. She says that as an investor, you can consider the blue sky exit strategy. Well,
green.
That is true, but investing is different to trading, Gravity. That's what you've got to remember. When you're investing, it's a very, very different thing to actually trading. Investing, absolutely. You don't have to have a take profit in mind because you're going into the longer haul. You're expecting growth over time, which is different. You're getting income along the way. So it's a very different way of looking at it. So investing is, we've got to always remember, investing is different to trading, okay?
Here's ADA, Thai, US dollar tether. Basically, it's a crypto, but it's, look, I've been feeling this thing's a bit of a sleeper. You can see it's starting to wake up here today. Chainlink went mental, 48 up to the 50 for Link. That's insane. It's in itself. It's time now for the market capitalization of this to rejig itself, and I think it's looking good. It's stuck in a bit of a coil. And like any good coil, if you showed this to Tyrone, you showed this to anyone that's doing TA for a long time, they're going to say that thing's coiling. And when it explodes out, it's going to be a very large move, at least to the previous peaks. But I feel like this time around, Ty, this coin's been sitting here with a peak in February, a peak in March, a peak in April. I mean, that's the type of coil that you want, isn't it, before a big breakup?
It is. It's due, and if you measure that coiling zone, it's going to equal probably that previous high as well. So I think it gives you a very clear target to aim for as well. Very logical target. It's going to move the length of the channel, which is great. You're right. I mean, that's the thing. It's definitely that is a lot of coiling action. And I do like the story there. Like if you get the break up, I think it's a very clear target.
Darth Sidious says Doge SNL pre-anticipatory run-up. Yeah, absolutely. Doge is going to run into the event. This is a buy the rumor, sell the fact. Take a look at this, Ty. Euphoria. It's very strong, very strong. 67. They wanted $1, but I'm always keen on market capitalization for Doge. You scroll over here, we bring it down quickly, and you'll notice straight away $86 billion. It's a joke, but it's okay for some people. $86 billion. It's going to want $100 billion. Why not? My uncle just called me, Ty. And he goes, I'm in Doge. I said, do you have any other coins? He goes, no. And he's got a lot of it. He's big baller in Doge. Don't worry about that. He's got a decent amount. So he's with you guys more than I am. Or Tyrone probably is. But yeah, he's got it. He's got the Doge. He's in the Doge. 86 billion. 100 billion possibly on the way, or the magical dollar. I really feel like this is a buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of event there on that one.
Yeah, I hear. Another question, we've got a question from Graham about the US dollar CAD. I think we probably better cut that actually. To answer Truly's question, I went to Coles to get some canned tuna. That's what I have for lunch generally. Truly, I have some canned tuna and and no brand of toilet paper. No, toilet paper is quite okay. In the OG, we're not worried about stockpiling that at the moment. But yeah, tuna is my lunch of choice today.
Tuna is the can of choice. Remember you used to buy those beans? The rice ones? My goodness. You loved those things too. What were they called? Oh, yeah. I think it was like tuna and rice. You've always loved tuna. You've loved that stuff. Okay. What else have we got here? I don't know if there's that much else. I mean, non-farms is probably the big problem this week. It's mostly crosstown city. I like to use crosses a lot more, like going and having a look at crosses. Like, here you've got the Euro New Zealand. You can see it's coming up to a key level of support. I just noticed one of my alerts got hit for this today. And you can see here, bang, smoking on down to the 166.80 tie. This is the 8-hour chart, 4-hour chart. I'll bring it up so you can have a look. Beautiful looking support. Massive rejection occurring here with weakness in the euro right now. And bang, bang. That's the type of sell that I'm interested in. I'm certainly interested in the sell underneath this zone, even after such a large move if it breaks through. But I expect it to probably go bang, little bit of buying pressure, weakness, and then boom. I'll be here. That
would be the ideal here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I like that one. Yep. Let's have a quick look at the US dollar CAD for Graham.
Oh, sure.
And I mean, that's the thing. It has created its own new little support base at these levels here around that sort of 122.70 area. I still think this is a great scalping. I mean, I don't talk about it a lot anymore because I get yelled at every time I do, but I still trade it on a daily basis. I love it. And I think it's, again, testing this really important zone. I think what it's got is a bit more reliance than we probably give it credit for on the dollar index right now. I still think this is the one that's got the most potential. If this one does kick in, the dollar index kicks up, I think this has got 150 pips in it pretty easy, really. But I still advise scalping on it. I wouldn't be going for anything too extreme. It's still a really, really good scalp. You can see on that weekly there how important a zone that is. You've got to go a long, long way to see it, but it's there. So, and as you can see, a similar sell-off that got there last time actually had a rebound that was very, very aggressive. So, it's very, very heavily sold. I think that, when you're looking at longs from this level, I think you keep them short and sharp and just go for many. That's what my plan is on this one, rather than just trying to go for, 200 or 300 pips on the way up. Just aim for, 50 pips at a time and just have very sensible stop losses. And I think you'll end up with better trades really overall.
Yeah, I think also that was a sweet trade. Long leg Doge down. But I like particularly these two reversals that happened here just into the support. But yeah, it's at critical. They're all at critical, and it's because of the non-farms. Look, I think Ty will probably cut it there for this week. We'll get this microphone thing sorted out, and next week we'll be coming at you live, and it's going to be good. We're going to be here on YouTube from now on. We've got some new processes, some massively exciting stuff that's going to be coming out over the next 2 weeks. Don't we, Ty? Do you want to say anything now, or are we leaving it?
No.
All right, you'll have to wait. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Join us in the Discord community if you're not already there. Dave, Amanda, somebody that's in the crowd, if you could provide the link for anyone that's coming in, join us in the free public, or join us as, of course, a member in our private groups. It's going to be a lot of fun in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to non-farm payrolls, and I'm super looking forward to seeing what happens on the Nasdaq and the SP 500. Ty, what's your favorite trading pair for the next week? And it can't be CAD.
No, it can't be CAD, but it is still going to be a US dollar based one. The US dollar yen for mine.
Okay.
It's the one that I think looks the most likely. It's the one that's going to benefit the most from, just even a little bit of dollar strength will benefit it. And I think that's what I like about it. It doesn't need to have a massive amount of power here. And you can see it looks like it's setting up for, it's not making lower highs. That's like, even though that the most two recent highs are lower than the previous one, you can see that it's still trying to go higher and it's finding support. Now that it's got a couple of very key moving averages behind it, I do like this one. It can open itself up to the 110 pretty easily, I think. So very, very good. I like this one.
Closure above 109.50, I reckon.
Q&A tomorrow is going to be at the standard time for all of you who want to join in on that one. Tomorrow we are going to open it up to the public because it's a pre-non-farm one, so it's going to be an open to the public Q&A, which will be awesome. And yeah, don't worry, we'll get these microphone issues sorted out, and the webinars are going to be really, really good in this platform because I think we get a lot more interaction. We've had a lot of really positive comments, which is awesome. And I think that we can get a lot more information out there pretty quickly. And I don't know, you must be all sick of hearing Thomas's voice by himself on YouTube. Surely to God. Surely you must be thinking to yourself, there must be more to this than just Thomas's voice. I mean,
no, there's never any more. That's all there is. All right, Ty, we'll let you on the YouTube. You have to get a webcam. Get a webcam.
I will get a webcam. All right. Thank you, everyone. Sorry for the microphone. Don't worry. We'll sort it out. Thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you in the Discord room and seeing you in Thomas's room in about 15 minutes.
All right. See you.